Beautiful friend, on December 4th, we're going to have a transformational full supermoon in the communicative, free-spirited air sign of Gemini. This will be our very last full moon of 2025, and it has fate and destiny written all over it. For this reason, I think this is going to be a turning point full moon for those of you who are most activated by this full moon in your natal astrology chart, and also for all of us on a collective level. And I'll be sharing why this is in part one of this video. We'll look at the planetary aspects to the full moon and to one another, because this gives us the full story of this lunation. And most importantly, it shows us how can we use this full moon to help us move forward into 2026. And in part two, as always, I will do readings for each of the signs based on your rising sign. Watch your sun and moon also for further themes and intuitive messages. And I will pull an oracle card for each of the signs as well. I'm super excited to dive in, but before I do want to welcome you if you are brand new to the channel. This is a like-minded community. If you're highly sensitive, if you resonate with being on an ascension journey, or you're empathic, you're seeking, I'm so glad you're here. It is always my intention to empower and inspire you through Western tropical astrology. Welcome back if you've been watching my videos. And if we're just meeting for the first time, I'm Betsy. I'm a psychic astrologer, intuitive life coach, and the author of the book, The Magic of Saying Yes, Answering Your Heart's True Calling. It is also my passion and dedication to meet you on Zoom for live one-on-one astrology readings. So if you could use some extra support right now, stay tuned till the end of this video. I'll tell you more about my offerings, and I have a free gift for you. I'll tell you what that free gift is and how you can get it at the end. And if you'd like to receive my weekly inspirational astrology updates direct to your inbox before they go out on social media, go to my website, subscribe for free, and you will also get my free gift instant download at the same time. Now, because the Gemini full moon is a supermoon, this means that it appears brighter to the human eye, and so we feel it more intensely. It activates us on a deeper level emotionally as well. When the moon is at its peak fullness, it symbolizes a culmination, something coming full circle, a graduation moment, or something ending. Sometimes it feels like something is going away and we don't want it to go away. Our human selves want to hold on to the things that have felt good to us. And this is one of the reasons why we often feel full moons as emotional releases. We have to have a good cry. We have to dance it out. There's more pent-up energy. Why the emergency rooms tend to fill up during full moons, right? Now, this full moon is a culmination of a manifestational cycle that began 6 months earlier. And that was May 26th and 27th, depending on your time zone. That's when we had the new moon in Gemini. And as a side note, if you had your birthday right around that time, whatever is happening for you during this full moon could feel like a big deal. It could feel like a really big turning point in your life, or that something is on the line. And I'm not saying you have to have had a late May birthday to feel this full moon intensely. A lot of us will, and I will let you know who that is shortly. But all full moons are considered oppositions. And an opposition is when the sun and the moon are opposite each other on the zodiac wheel. And in this case, we have the sun in Sagittarius, fire, enthusiasm, optimism. Sag is the seeker. It can really fuel our desire for adventure and freedom. And we also have Mars and Venus in Sagittarius during this full moon. So really it's a party in Sag, and that could make you feel that much more ignited, the fire burning in your belly, which is a beautiful thing. The moon itself will be in Gemini. Gemini is an air sign where we want to talk things out. We are well served in Gemini energy to be open, to be spontaneous and flexible, and to see things from all perspectives, to open up to new possibilities, because both Sag and Gemini, being mutable signs, help us through transition. They help us through change. And Gemini especially is connected to the ability to make a change, course correct, go in a new direction. So that could be part of what you experience during this full moon. You could also experience being very busy. Gemini rules the third house of moving and shaking, doing our errands, making our logistical plans, often feeling like we have so much going on in our minds because our to-do list is super long and we're just trying to mow through it. But also, Gemini triggers a desire for a lot of us to be social. And we can work things out by talking to other people, getting support, consulting experts, talking with friends or coaches, not feeling like we have to do it all by ourselves. Now, keep in mind that in Gemini energy, and you don't have to have strong Gemini in your chart to feel this during a Gemini full moon, we're all receiving this energy. And so you may feel a need for more stimulation. You may be more easily distracted, having trouble focusing, and just feel a very strong desire for freedom. That's a battle cry for both Sag and Gemini, freedom. And for Gemini, the desire to express your free-spirited nature, if you relate to that. Gemini is also connected to the archetype of the winged messenger, where we receive signs and synchronicities, and we have magical moments, and things come out of the blue, and we have a so-called random conversation with someone in the checkout line at the grocery store, and we're uplifted or we're newly inspired, and you don't even have to know that person. In Gemini energy, we tap into the moment of the environment that we're in, and magic can happen right then and there. But also, the duality of Gemini means that we have one foot in both worlds, one foot in this earthly world and one foot in the ethereal realms. And this is why we can associate Gemini energy with the alchemist, with the magician, the ability to turn dross into gold, the ability to shift our mindset or perception and thereby open up to whole new possibilities. Because Gemini, after all, rules ideas, communications, new possibilities, other ways of looking at things, and all the communications that we send to other people through emailing, through texting, the phone calls, plus everything that we receive, the information we receive on social media, through the news. I know a lot of us don't watch the news anymore, but information is always flowing on many different levels in our lives, right? So you could feel that picking up around this full moon, or an important communication coming in for you. And I'm going to tell you more about that in a moment as well. But here's what I think this full moon wants to emphasize for us. It wants to remind us, I believe, that we are co-creative beings. In other words, we are the ones, our souls are the ones that decided what we wanted to do, be, and have, what we wanted to experience, what reality we wanted to bring into this lifetime. And our earthly self often forgets that. Our earthly self often feels victimized or powerless or like I can't have what I want. I think this full moon wants to help us transform that mindset if we're stuck more in the earthly realm than beautifully straddling the earthly and the magical, co-creative, ephemeral realm. So one of the best ways you can use this energy is to set an intention for how you want to feel. Using the words I am, the most powerful words in the English language. I am, you fill in the blank with a quality or an emotion that you choose to feel with whatever you're grappling with, because you could very well be trying to make a decision, solving a problem, figuring something out that feels really important during this full moon. So we want to take our power back to remember that we are the captains of our own ship. We are taking the reins of our life. We can decide this is what I desire. This is what I'm co-creating. Anything that's not a match for that is not welcome in my energy field. And when we're very, very clear on what we will accept and what we won't settle for, our vibrational frequency, our attractor field will not allow anything else in that isn't a match with our intention. However, during this full moon, if you are not remembering to feed and nurture your positive intention, you could find yourself feeling hemmed in or stuck or trying to choose between two options, neither of which feel palatable to you. You could find yourself playing mind games with yourself. And we've all done that. We all know what that feels like. In fact, in the tarot deck, the card for Gemini is the Lover's card. And yes, that can be associated with two people coming together for sure. But another meaning of the Lover's card is a head over heart decision. In other words, the head and the heart not feeling aligned. The duality again, feeling split. What does this full moon want us to do? It wants to heal or transform any split in the mind so that we can feel good about whatever we're choosing, whatever we're deciding, whatever we're solving, and feel confident and courageous in what we're moving into, especially in 2026. So the lower expression of Gemini energy is feeling that split, feeling anxious, feeling worried. You could feel especially confused or worried that the choice that you make isn't going to bring you a good outcome. spending too much time trying to figure it out up here instead of tapping into our heart's energy, to our high heart and the low heart. The low heart is in our pelvic area, our hips, listening to our body's wisdom, because our body will always tell us. We can feel the feeling when we tap into it and feel how it feels in the body. However, let's focus on the higher octave. The higher octave is you being the alchemist or the magician, turning dross into gold, going into the fear. And this is what a lot of us on a human level don't want to do. We skip over it. My own experience with my own fear and working with clients, it is a step that we don't want to skip. It's very important. Why? Because fears usually come from past experiences, right? Of things that didn't play out the way we wanted them to. Past so-called failures, past losses, past pain. And when I tell you about the aspects in a moment, you're going to see why this could be part of what you're going through. There is a strong element of fate and destiny with this full moon. And so in my view, the most important step, number one, intention. What do you really want to feel? And number two, anything that's in the way of that, any fears, any stresses, any mind chatter, we have to move that energy. We want to process those fears. We want to move them out of our physical body, our emotions, our mental space, our energy field, so that we can be over and done with that. And with Saturn and Neptune moving back into Pisces for the very last time, Uranus is also in Taurus for the very last time. We're finishing out a lot of energies right now, and these transits really validate the fact that we are in this process of what I've been talking about for some time now in my videos. We are in this process of washing away what is no longer current for us. It's old energy. It's past stuff. It's stuff from past trauma. We want to release that so it doesn't taint our energy field, right? In terms of co-creating what we most want during this full moon. Okay, so I want to go into the aspects because they give us the nuances, the wisdom, the nuggets that you can take away from this full moon to work with the energies in an empowered way. But before I do, who will most feel this full moon in Gemini? It's happening at 13 degrees of Gemini. So wherever you have 13 degrees of Gemini in your natal astrology chart, this is where you're going to feel this full moon. Some of you will feel it more intensely and personally, and that is those of you who have planets or points between 9 and 17 degrees of Gemini, Sagittarius, Pisces, or Virgo. That's any planets or points in your chart. And we will all feel this full moon on a collective level. I don't watch the news, but I do look at headlines. I do look briefly at stories that are happening just to see how they are aligning with the astrology of the moment. And I think we're going to see that for sure. New information, new developments coming out on the world stage or in your community during the full moon. Now, the aspects. How do the planets or points interacting with this full moon or interacting with one another give us more clues to working with this full moon energy? First of all, we always look to the ruler of the lunation, and Mercury is the ruler of this full moon. Mercury is now direct. It has been retrograde most of November, but it will be direct, going over its post-retrograde shadow degrees. In other words, it's retracing its steps over the degrees it traveled for a lot of November. What does this mean? It means that we are integrating what we learned during the Mercury retrograde. We are integrating and applying whatever comes up for us in a mercurial way, which can be divine downloads. It can be messages that we hear from other people. It can be whatever we gather from other sources. Or, Mercury also rules transactions. It rules buying and selling. So, for example, if you are buying gifts for the holiday season, but whatever you learned during the Mercury retrograde, whatever came up for you, that could come back around during this full moon. Mercury is in Scorpio at 22 degrees. 22 is a transformational number. It is a master builder number. We often shed a skin when a planet or point at 22 degrees is highlighted. Not only this, Mercury is widely opposing Uranus and Taurus, which could mean that the news or information or communication that we're getting is unexpected or disruptive or exciting. Could be exciting too. The thing is, in Scorpio energy, which rules our emotional attachments, death and rebirth, transformation, it's the deep diving, very emotional water sign. I'm going to get to the root of the matter. It really favors purging our fears. It really favors understanding that something from our own darkness, so to speak, may be rising up for us to see and be with and hold and process and release. However, it's also a fixed water sign, and fixed means we don't want to change our mind. We don't want things to get moved around. We don't want anyone to move our cheese. If you read that book, Don't Move My Cheese. Remember, in Scorpio energy, we attach. This feels good. This is going to support me. I don't want to loosen my grip. I've been planning on this. I've been working toward this. It has to go a certain way. You could be feeling or thinking that during this full moon. So we want to bring a certain amount of flexibility and openness, Gemini energy, and just know that if something comes to light, an illumination, a realization, new information that we didn't know before, that affects how we're feeling about a plan or a decision or a way we were headed before. If that happens, we want to remember it's only happening because the universe has our back. Your higher self has your back. And sometimes in Scorpio energy, we can be codependent. We can be afraid to rock the boat, upset the apple cart, have the conversation, confront somebody that we perceive has more power than us. We can be afraid of doing that in this energy. But the antidote, and my tip for you, my friend, is to process that fear even of, I don't want to approach this person. Go deep, peel back the layers, process whatever feels stifling for you or in the way or whatever you're giving your power to, if it's not you, so that you can create safety for yourself. You can create the safety that then allows you to take back your power, be proactive, and get to the right decision or choice for you. And for some of us to do that, we need support first. We need support from talking to a friend or a coach or someone that we trust. But with this Mercury in Scorpio, and this being a Mercury-ruled full moon, we are meant to get to the root of something, to the heart of the matter, shine the light on it, and take back our power. Now, here's why this full moon is bringing up fate and or destiny. The sun and the moon, opposite one another, are being T-squared by the lunar nodes of fate and destiny in Pisces and Virgo. The north node's in Pisces, the south node's in Virgo. And because the sun and the moon are across from each other, the lunar nodes of fate and destiny are across from each other, this forms what we call a mutable grand cross or a grand square. And the short of this is that we can feel like, where are my options? I have no options. I'm hemmed in. Nothing feels like a good choice. So we want to step back, zoom out. What's the big picture? What does my heart really want? What would make me feel safe and secure? If I had a choice, if I weren't feeling this hemmed in kind of feeling, what would I choose? What would I choose instead? Because the truth is, when we do that and we detach a little bit from what we think has to happen a certain way, we surrender to what we can't control. A big message of this full moon. We maybe sit down and brainstorm with someone, heartstorm with someone. What are all the possible ways, things that I could do to get my needs met here? To get to the outcome I want. In other words, we don't try to swim against the current of the river. A square to the south node in Virgo says, be aware of any being too much in the intellect, analysis paralysis, perfectionism, trying to control the outcome, trying to control every little detail. And then the square to the north node in Pisces says, if you want to escape, you could very much just want to escape. I don't want to feel the fear. I'm just going to have a glass of wine and watch Netflix. Nothing wrong with that, right? But if you're just putting something off that is very important to you, then are you taking care of you by that escape? Keep in mind that whatever is going on for you during this full moon, it could relate to past life experiences, past life losses, past life trauma. And when I say it could relate, what I'm saying is that's where your fear could be coming from. You could say, no, it's coming from what's going on right now. I can't trust this person, or I don't know if this will, I'm afraid that this outcome may happen. But often that comes from something we experienced in childhood and or a past life. And that's what we are meant to clear during this full moon. I mean, really, that's what this is about, big picture on a soul level. We are meant to clear this past life stuff that cannot come with us into 2026. And I'm smiling and getting excited about that, because if we can see the big picture of it, we can detach a little bit, again, doing that zooming out, so that we feel more in our power. We always have choices. We may need to do some clearing of fear to be able to see and understand our choices, but we can do that. And fortunately, we have a lot of spiritual support from the grand trine in water that is happening during this full moon. Mercury in Scorpio, harmonizing with Jupiter, still retrograde in Cancer, harmonizing with Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. Saturn is now direct in Pisces. Neptune will soon, a few days after this, turn direct in Pisces. Watch my December video for all the dates and explanations of the transits. But this flowing grand trine in water really helps us to do the emotional release that we need to do. And what's coming up for me right now in this moment is just say no. Just say no to just say no. Tell the universe, I'm not going to settle for anything less than what I know I need. And you might want to do that, just say no, through a dance process. I love to dance. We all have different ways. Maybe you go for a run. Maybe you lift weights. Maybe you declare while you're driving in the car. In my book, I call it freeway prayers. You declare, I am not settling for X, Y, and Z. I will not allow this. In other words, really letting that anger come up. It could be anger that comes up, letting it come up, but fierce anger that comes up where you physically are moving the energy out of the way that you don't want. That sends a very strong statement to both your subconscious mind and the energetic field, your guides and angels, making it very, very clear. Another way to take back your power. With this water grand trine, you could really have some nostalgic moments during this full moon. Tap into the good memories too. Use the good memories by going into them and feeling through them, because that also activates that higher vibrational field for you bringing in what you do want. And lastly, in addition to this gorgeous water grand trine supporting us to release what we no longer want, plus heal emotionally, plus just overall feel better, feel good. This is a very feel good water grand trine. We also have Mars in Sagittarius trining Chiron in Aries. Chiron represents the wounded healer archetype, healing something painful, a physical ailment, an emotional wound. It's connected to a core wound of abandonment, betrayal, or shame. Mars is our mojo, our drive, our desire to take action on something, and Mars is wanting to do this healing, wanting to help us heal this core wound, which is very supportive. And Mars is also the physical body, probably another reason why I'm thinking of like dance out what's upsetting to you. Mars can be connected to anger. Get the anger out. Release the physical stuff. That will be really helpful. So, a quick summary of my tips for you, my friend. Get clear on your intention. What do you want to be, do, or have during this full moon? Set very clear boundaries. Put yourself in the driver's seat. Vow that to yourself that you will investigate or research anything that comes up. You'll be proactive and stay true to the outcome that you know is in your best interest. The outcome that's in your best interest is also in the best interest of everyone concerned. And I have an affirmation for you, which is the universe, my spiritual guides, divine love, and my own higher self are all working together, supporting me to receive a positive, powerful outcome that is ushering me into the next beautiful, victorious chapter of 2026. Okay, my friends, let us do your 12 sign readings now. Listen to your rising sign. This is the area of your life corresponding to the area of your natal astrology chart in which you will experience this full moon energy. Also, watch your sun and moon signs for further themes and intuitive messages that may very well apply to your full moon experience. And we're going to start with Gemini because beautiful Gemini, this is your full moon and I have my natal sun in Gemini, so I'm right here with you. And you are going to experience this full moon if you're a Gemini rising. If not, take the themes that I share. You are going to experience it in your first house of you, beautiful Gemini. This is your glow up full moon, or it is your coming out full moon. It's you experience an ending, a culmination, something closing out for you. It could be the end of a chapter. It could be something finally coming to fruition or to a head or finally manifesting. You could have been working on something having to do with a role that you play or a relationship, or it can be career related or work related or home related because it's on your first house. It's on the angle of a chart. And when especially if this is close to your ascendant degree. And I know I'm getting more detailed with you, so ignore that part if it makes your eyes glaze over. Something I can illuminate for you in an astrology reading, of course. But when you have a full moon in your first house, it can affect any of the major areas of your life that I just mentioned. Also, your health. Why do I say health? Because the first house also rules our vitality. So it's not just the titles at work, the titles in our relationships, it's also how we feel in our physical body. So if you've been dealing with a health issue, it could be coming to resolution now. You could be finding a treatment or having a surgery or doing something that is going to heal what you've been going through. Some of you are potentially leaving a job, starting a new business, moving. And Gemini, because the sun during this full moon, the sun, Mars, and Venus will be in your 7th house of partnerships, that could very well bring in the partnership theme as well. In fact, you may mostly feel this full moon. We often feel full moons in our relationships, and they are often very emotional. And I think this one will be. I think a lot of Geminis are working through a relationship during this full moon. Maybe you're letting go of disappointment. Maybe you're letting go of where things haven't measured up to your expectations. That can be very, the Neptune, Saturn, and Pisces, and then the lunar nodes in Pisces and Virgo squaring this full moon. All of those things indicate you could be having that kind of experience as well. Or you can be visioning. I mean, we think of visioning as new moon experiences, but I like to, during a full moon, imagine what I'm releasing and letting go of, and also visioning what I truly want. And because this is going to be a full moon where we are having to make a decision, or we are maybe circling back on a decision we already made, and we're trying to get clarity on, is this still the right thing for me? It will probably involve in some way, shape, or form an interaction with another person that you are working through. A relationship could be ending, you could be separating from somebody, you could be going through a divorce. You could be also taking a relationship to the next level. Someone could be proposing to you, or you could be proposing to someone. And this person would likely, whether it's an ending or something going to the next level, because this full moon is making the square to the lunar nodes of fate and destiny, it's another marker of whatever's going on for us that was part of our karmic or soul's path to go through. The North Node in Pisces represents our destiny, what our soul is meant to go toward in this lifetime. And the South Node in Virgo is more of a karmic nature, what we were meant to learn and grow through, often through hard work or challenges. So Gemini, what do you want to release during this full moon? Full moons are classically times of release and letting go of what we don't want. And this one, because of the aspects which I go into at length during the first part of this video, and I encourage you to watch, if you want to really make the most of this full moon energy, especially because it's your full moon, this one in particular is really highlighting what we're meant to release and let go of because of the planetary conversations happening during the full moon. So, Gemini, what do you desire? Leave me a comment. Let me know if you want to share what's going on in your life. What is shifting or changing? Are you at a turning point? This is really a turning point full moon with the lunar nodes squaring the sun and the moon. So before I pull a card for you, I want to say thank you so much for your likes of this video. Thank you for taking a moment to tap like, leave me a comment, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet subscribed. It really helps me, and I'm very, very grateful for your support. Gemini. Gemini, for your full moon, your card is relaxation. I love this card so much. Have you been working really hard? Have you been going full force for a while? Here's the full moon, right? And it's saying it's time to relax. It's time to take a break. It's time to put your feet up. It's time to sit back and do, of course, this person's reading, a very Gemini thing, but whatever would bring you to a more relaxed place. And when you do, I think you're going to get some revelations. I think you're going to realize if there's anything that isn't sustainable for you anymore. Saturn and Neptune finishing out in Pisces. Anything that isn't sustainable, that you can't continue, that isn't on for your greatest good, I think you're going to realize that often we get the good stuff, we get the downloads, we get the magical synchronicities and signs and aha moments when we're in a very relaxed state. So if you want to claim your relaxation, beautiful Gemini, let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear. Taurus. Hello, beautiful Taurus. Taurus. The Gemini full moon for you is happening in your second house of earned income. This is your self-esteem, self-worth, sense of deserving, also material security, your possessions, whatever makes you feel more secure in this earthly world, which is why we put earned income here. It's a full moon. Full moons want us to release and let go of anything that's holding us back. So, or you could be releasing an income. You could be releasing a job that doesn't pay you enough. You could be saying, I want to have my own business now. I don't want to work for somebody anymore. Some of you could really be proclaiming to the universe, I am done with X, Y, or Z. Taking something on like a side gig, thinking about multiple streams of income, how you can create those. You could be selling something during this full moon because it's the house of possessions, and full moons are about letting go of whatever is not serving us anymore. Or you could be really like receiving a revelation around self-love, or around maybe where you have not valued yourself enough. And that could be the revelation, the illumination that catapults you into a higher vibration, a higher self-worth that brings more joy into your life, beautiful Taurus. And opposite the moon in Gemini will be the sun in Sag, and that's in your 8th house of shared resources, investments, emotional and sexual intimacy, debts, taxes. It's a financial house and also a house of partnership. So with the sun there, this full moon could also bring up things along those lines. You know, you could be splitting up assets with someone. You could be emotionally or selling a house. You could be going through an emotional or sexual kind of healing with another person, having an important conversation heart to heart, or letting go of some emotional attachment, figuring out your taxes, paying off a loan. You get the idea. So, beautiful Taurus, let us see what the cards have to say for you now. And if you want to know the nuances of this full moon and what's going on under the surface and how you can work with the energies, especially the harder things that could come up during this full moon, watch part 1 of this video. Before I pull your card, thank you so much, Taurus, for your support. It means the world to me. Thank you for liking this video, leaving me a comment if you'd like to, and for subscribing. When you subscribe, it makes a huge difference. It really helps me, Taurus. Now your card. And you got Voyage. This card, first of all, the thing that impresses me most about this card always when it comes up is the whale. If you resonate with whales, the whales may have a message for you. But even more specifically, the mama or daddy whale and the baby whale. And this could represent you and your inner child as well. And notice how the baby is always tethered to the whale. And whales represent wisdom. They represent eons of wisdom. I think it's the whales that really anchor a lot of the light to this planet. And I think the whales are really speaking to us right now, if you resonate with that. And this is saying that you are on a voyage. You are on a deep, important voyage, and to be open to the possibilities, the unexpected twists and turns of any voyage, and to know that you are protected. The whales have your back, spirit has your back. And for some of you, there's a message to take care of your inner child and maybe do some inner child healing work. I do have a video for you on inner child healing that you can check out. And in my book, I have a meditation on going to your sacred secret garden and communing with your inner child. And that has been tremendously healing for myself and for many of my clients as well. So beautiful Taurus, if you want to claim your adventure, that's a voyage is an adventure, right? If you want to claim the fact that you are on an adventure and that you are open to new possibilities, let us know in the comments below. I'd love to hear. Aries. Hello, beautiful Aries. Aries. You're going to feel this full moon in your third house of moving and shaking. The third house is where we do all of our errands, we make our logistical plans, we do our emails, we have communications with others through phone calls and texting and so on. It rules our devices, it rules our websites. If you have a website, anything that you do where you're doing some sort of freelance work or you're an independent contractor, maybe you're writing, you're speaking, you're teaching, you're learning. All of these things are involved with third house matters. If you're having a celebration during this time, it would probably be a local kind of get together, meeting someone for a glass of wine or for coffee, or maybe you are having a Zoom meeting. But for you too, Aries, this full moon is saying, is there anything that needs to shift in your perception? Because this house also rules our perceptions, our mindset, and our communications. And we want to be careful of how we communicate during this full moon, especially because it is supercharged with the square to the lunar nodes, which I discuss and break down for you and how you can work with that energy in part 1 of this video. But it is bringing up that it's wanting us to be aware of what our mindset is around something. Are we in the most empowered mindset? Are we seeing ourselves as a co-creator? Are we claiming our ability to influence the outcomes of our life and of whatever you're working with, whatever problem, issue, decision, choice point you're working with during this full moon? Are you seeing it from the point of you have the power? That's very important. And it's really going to influence, I believe, how we experience these energies and through the month of December and into the beginning of 2026 as well. Opposite the moon is the sun in your 9th house, transiting your 9th house of expansion. So the sun will be here in the 9th house, Venus will be here, Mars will be here, a lot of energy, a whole party of in Sag in your 9th house of expansion, optimism, new horizons, long distance travel, learning something new, starting a degree program or ending. You could be ending a degree program. You could be closing out something that has to do with what you've been learning, what you've been studying. It's also the house of awakening. You could have some sort of big epiphany with the sun and Mars and Venus all transiting the 9th house. So all full moons are endings, culminations, full circle moments, something manifesting, something coming to a head. Keep that in mind. Big picture, Aries. Let us pull a card for you and see what the cards have to say for you. And before I do so, thank you so much for your likes, for your support, for commenting on my videos, for subscribing. When you subscribe, you make a huge difference. And I wouldn't be here without you. I really appreciate your help, Aries. Okay, let's pull a card for you now. Aries. Your card is, oh, Aries, this is one of my favorite cards. Oh my gosh, I love this card so much. It's the dolphins and it's happiness. Happiness. Aries, I want to do the victory dance for you. I love this so much. If you're in a partnership or you want a partnership, I always see this card too as very supportive of that. This card speaks for itself. If you want to claim your happiness in the comments below, Aries, we would all love to hear. Pisces. Hello, beautiful Pisces. Pisces, I think you're going to feel this full moon perhaps more intensely than others, especially if you have planets or points, around the 13 degrees, but also because the North Node is in your sign still, and the North Node and the South Node across from you are squaring this full moon. So Pisces, Virgo, Gemini, and Sag are going to feel this most intensely, but also Pisces, we've got Saturn and Neptune transiting back for the very last time in your sign, and this intensifies those energies as well. So where are you feeling this full moon most likely? In your 4th house. 4th house is our house of roots and belonging, your physical home, people who live in your home, your relationships with people who live in your home, your relationship with your own inner child, your relationship to your mother can come up, your relationship to the ancestral line could come up. This is a very healing full moon, as I go into at length in part 1 of this video, why it's that way and how you can best work with the energies. But you could find yourself at a culmination or get an illumination or a divine download about home and family or any of the things that I just mentioned. Are you happy where you are? Do you want to stay there? Do you want to move? Some of you could be moving during this full moon. Moving is a very full moon thing. Anything where we are making a change, where we are doing something that's different from our everyday, something that's markedly different, that's often a full moon thing. But also because the sun is in Sag during this full moon, and so are Mars and Venus, there's a party in Sag in your 10th house of career, retirement, semi-retirement, life purpose expressed, how you want to spend your time, legacy. You could also feel these energies in your 10th house. You could feel it in both. You could feel it in one or the other. Again, a decision maybe having to do with career, maybe leaving a job, starting something new, starting your own business, retiring, going on sabbatical, taking a break, or just doing some real deep diving reflection or release on any feelings or fears around living your purpose, leaving a job, changing your life. This is the most public area of your chart. This is where we are most visible to others, the 10th house. So, Pisces, what, if anything, that I just shared resonates for you? Leave me a comment if you'd like to share. Thank you so much for liking this video. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. When you subscribe, you make a huge difference in my work and my life, and I so appreciate it. So I want to pull a card for you, and I've been shuffling. Let's see what the cards have to say for you, beautiful Pisces. And go with the flow. I know that's such a Pisces thing. Go with the flow. Surrender. It's really a time of surrender for all of us, but Pisces, you're gifted at that. It's one of your superpowers. And this full moon is really supporting us to surrender to what we can't control, take back our power, and change what we can change. And so that we can see the decisions that are in front of us. We can see the options is what I mean. We can see options and choices. And breathe and relax and go with the flow of the energy. It will be easier that way. And it could be a beautiful full moon for you. Let's see what this says. It could just be intensely emotional. And we can have intense emotions around what our human self considers positive or negative, right? And you get transformation, Pisces. I love the art in this card. Most of you Pisces are very artistic. If not artistic, you're creative. And so whenever I look at this card, of course I see transformation from the chrysalis into the butterfly. If you've been through a very difficult period, if you've been in the cocoon, so to speak, you could be in this phase of coming out as the butterfly. This full moon you could be feeling that during this full moon. I'm finally spreading my wings. I'm finally flitting off to drink in the nectar of flowers, exotic flowers that I have never tasted before. I've never tasted this nectar. It's a new adventure. It's a new horizon. It's a new experience of life. So if you want to claim your transformation in the comments below, beautiful Pisces, let me know. I would love to hear. Aquarius, Aquarius, this is the dawning of the... You fill in the blank, beautiful Aquarius. You know the song, I'm sure you do. Getting a little silly here for you. So, your full moon in Gemini, which trines your energy. I love that it trines your energy. It is ease and flow when we get a trine. It's the best aspect we can have. And you are getting a trine from the full moon in your 5th house of children, love, romance, creativity, your free, unbridled expression. This is the house of inner child delight. This is the house saying, let your inner muse come out. Do things just for fun. Just let yourself. Really it is pleasure and comforts and joy. That's this house. So any of these things could be coming to fruition for you or ending. For example, a child could be having some sort of graduation moment themselves or ending or culmination. They could be manifesting. Something could be manifesting. Love or romance could be really highlighted for you during this time. Creative, and when I say highlighted, it can be either or, right? A full moon is often a release or an ending. So yes, a relationship could be ending, or you could be taking one to the next level, or you could be like, have done your online dating profile, and now, how is that? Maybe it's bearing fruit now, and that's and that's true for a creative expression, a creative project, or anything that you feel is like your creative baby. Opposite the full moon, the moon itself, part of the full moon energy is the sun in Sagittarius. And not only is the sun here, but Mars and Venus are here as well. And they are in your 11th house. Your 11th house of, I already mentioned online dating. It's all online platforms, social media platforms. If you have a any sort of a following on any platform, then it would include that. But also where you talk to other people online through Tribe, leaving comments on my videos or other people's videos, that's also very, very 11th house. Also, it's the World card in the tarot, so it's asking you, what do you want? It's you, getting your whole telescope out and surveying the world and the possibilities. Where do you want to go? What do you want to do from here? Also, the 11th house is friends, allies, and supporters, long-term financial gains. So this axis of the 5th and 11th house, where this full moon is for you, is really a lovely axis. It really is. You could have some money coming in that you weren't expecting, or you could feel like there's a long-term gain that's happening. It's funny because it's reminding me of the stock market, and somebody said recently, like, the money isn't yours until you sell your stock. Until you sell your stock, the money really isn't yours. So I don't know, maybe somebody needed to hear that. That was something for me to really hear, because so often the market will fluctuate, and I know not all of you are invested in the market, but it will fluctuate, and when it goes down, we're like, oh my God, I lost, da, 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 da. Well, it was never really ours in the first place. And I know that doesn't always make us feel better, but to me, it is good advice for staying attuned to any long-term investments that you're making, and long-term gains do fall in the 11th house. But more so than the financial aspect, with this a full moon on the 5th, 11th house axis, it tends to have more to do with your creativity and your friendships and being social and just feeling fulfilled. It really is the 11th house is the house of fulfillment. What is your dream? What is your most cherished dream now? Because our dreams fluctuate and change. What does your heart most want, Aquarius? That's what this card is asking you. And I'm going to pull a card for you. Thank you so much for liking this video. If you take a moment right now to tap like, to leave me a comment if you care to, and to tap the subscribe button. When you subscribe, you make a huge difference for me, and it really helps. And I want to pull a card for you now. Aquarius. Your card is security. Interesting. I was talking about financial stuff, and then you get the card security. Even though I don't feel that financial part to be a huge focus of this axis of the 5th and the 11th house at all. However, security can come on a lot of different levels too. And this card is talking about feeling safe, and it's taking you back to the most primal security. Here, there is a fire. This is like a campfire out in the woods, and there are cave. What do we call these? They are, drawings from people that lived out in nature and often communicated, a Gemini word, communicated through the drawings that they made in the rock formations. And so to me, this is talking about our most primal security. Do you feel that your needs for security are met? If not, something could come up for you, a fear, a concern that whatever you want, if it failed, it would be like, when this happened to me before, kind of thing. That could come up for you to process and release, because this card is supporting us to find security from within. And often our security comes from, in truth, it comes from our creative gifts and talents, which is where this full moon is happening in your 5th house. That's where the moon will be, in your house of creativity. So you can source your creativity in knowing that your gifts and talents are the basis of all your creations. And the universe, your guide, spirit, are supporting you to express your creativity. In Aquarius, you are incredibly creative. And you have the ability to tap into your genius quite easily. You have everything you need. If you want to claim your security, in the comments below or share anything else, let me know. I would love to hear. Capricorn. Hello, beautiful Capricorn. Happy birthday to all of you who have birthdays this month of December. The full moon for you is happening in your 6th house of daily work, health, optimal physical, emotional, mental wellness, and relationships with coworkers, your work environment. The 6th house is what we call our schedules and our routines, and it's kind of how we have our life set up. Does the rhythm of our life, that's what I associate the sixth house with, the rhythm of your life, your lifestyle, do they align with your current vibrational frequency, with your current heart, with the way your soul is supporting you to live? Are they aligned? It also includes nutrition. It includes the foods we eat, how we take care of our bodies, and how is our thinking also, is our thinking supportive of our health on all levels? So Capricorn, with the full moon here, any of these things could be up for you. You could be ending, culminating, having a full circle moment around any of these themes, such as a job. You could be leaving a toxic work environment. You could be letting go of a habit or something you would have called perhaps an addiction that hasn't been good for you. You could be walking away from a supervisor, or you could be going through something with a coworker. Often full moons do play out in our relationships, or you could be going through something to do with your health. And that could be resolving, that could be, you could be clearing that out. Treating, healing. It's a very healing full moon, especially if we do, follow the energies of the planetary conversations happening during this full moon, including Mars trining Chiron, which I explained in part 1 of this video. If we do that, we really get all the healing power of this full moon, eat that much more. And just so you know, the Sun, Mars, and Venus will be across from the moon in your 12th house. And this is the house of illumination, spiritual awakening, the intense dreams that we can have, the astral travel, and the other kinds of out-of-body experiences that we can have. So you're balancing both during this full moon, and you could very well, with 3 planets, a party in Sag in your 12th house, you could be getting a lot of information, divine downloads, or feelings, a lot of sensing, psychically channeling wisdom, illuminations, realizations. I'm hearing turning point for some of you through receiving that, or maybe some manifestation is coming to you that involves your psychic senses, such as starting a work, or even like putting time and energy into a hobby, committing to something, committing to a project or a course or something, or maybe living in another country because the 12th house rules foreign lands. That is something that's going to expand you spiritually. And bring Capricorn, you are known for loving work, for liking to work hard, and for really feel that feeling of accomplishment. I've worked with a lot of Capricorn clients in coaching, and they've told me things like, I love being productive. I love at the end of the day knowing that I crossed everything off my list. So that's often a part of the Capricorn energy. And with a full moon, there is something that you are probably wanting to feel accomplished about during this full moon, that it's done, over, you've dealt with it. So let's see what the cards have to say. I want to thank you for being part of this community, for subscribing to the channel, for liking this video. Leave me a comment if you care to do so. But your support with subscribing especially makes a huge difference to me. So thank you for that. And let's see what your card is, Capricorn. Simplicity. There's a feather falling, and the feathers always remind me of messages from heaven. And the Sun, Mars, and Venus transiting your 12th house opposite the 6th house is very connected to loved ones who've crossed over. So pay attention during this full moon to any signs or messages from people who have passed over, your ancestors, your guides. It could be a very intuitive, blessed full moon for you. And simplicity is saying only do what you absolutely have to do. With so many planets in the 12th house, and the moon in the 6th is sending energy to your 12th house, that's often when we just want to rest. We want to be in retreat. Gemini is social, but maybe it's a phone call, or, a little bit of texting with someone, or, we all have different preferences for communication, for sure. But maybe you want to write, maybe you want to journal, maybe you want to do some automatic writing with spirit. And I do teach you how to do that in my book, The Magic of Saying Yes. I give you examples and so on. But maybe this is a full moon to be communing with your heart, to be communing with your spirit, to get more aligned and more enhance your connection with the divine, or a loved one on the other side. Beautiful Capricorn, if anything that I shared resonates and you want to leave me a comment, I'd love to hear it. Sagittarius, Sagittarius, beautiful Sagittarius. Beautiful Sag, did you know during this full moon, we're going to have the sun, Mars, and Venus all in your sign. There's a party in your sign. I hope that you feel the beauty of that, the energy of that, the hope and optimism, which is you, Sag. Happy birthday to all of you who have December birthdays or even late November birthdays when you might be watching this video. The full moon for you is happening. The moon itself is going to be in your 7th house of committed relationships. Relationships that fall into the 7th house are both romantic partnerships, significant others, and also business partnerships, best friendships, the people that we spend the most time with, or that you're spending the most time with at this point in your life, because that can certainly fluctuate in a lifetime, especially for people on a spiritual path. But whoever is helping to anchor your life right now on a very human level, this is the 7th house arena. And opposite the 7th house of partnerships is the committed relationships where you have their back, they have your back. You have an unspoken agreement at least to support each other. Opposite this is all the energy in the 1st house of you, Sag. So one of two things, big picture, could be going on for you. And that is that you could be going through an ending, culmination, or manifestation having to do with a relationship. You could be taking a relationship to the next level. You could be splitting up or realizing, because full moons bring illuminations, you could realize that a relationship is over for you. Or you could be focusing on something new for you, a new role for you, a new status, which of course often happens when we have a relationship change. But also you could have a new status because you've gotten a promotion, or you're taking on more responsibility. You have a new title at work. You are starting your own business. You are selling a business. You are deciding that you don't want to be single anymore, or you don't want to be married anymore, and the changes that come along with that. Really, when we have a full moon in the 7th house, it can also bring up underlying issues such as, am I giving more than I'm receiving? Or the other person could be saying that they're giving more than they feel that you're giving. It brings up relationship dynamics, which I think you could really feel during this full moon. Sag, you're one of the ones who's going to feel this full moon most intensely because you're a mutable energy. We're mutables. I have a Gemini sun, so I'm a mutable. You're a mutable, Sag. And fortunately, we mutables are changeable. We can ride with the tide and go with the flow. It doesn't mean it's easy, but if anyone, Sag, this is what I've experienced with my Sag friends and loved ones. If anyone can rise to the occasion and move through a shift and, make the most of a change, even if it's not what you would have ordered off the menu, it's you, Sag. I feel you are quite gifted at that. So, but watch part 1 of this video if you want to know more about the planetary conversations going on, because the moon does square the lunar nodes of fate and destiny, and that's a whole other conversation that I have with everyone in part 1. But it's bringing up fate and destiny as possible things that could happen for you. So you could be closing out a relationship that felt karmic to you, or you could be meeting someone new, or having an event or something happen in your life during this time that feels meant to be, or feels destined for you in some way, or karmic, or, we have all these different words. A lot of them mean the same thing. Just for clarity, I associate destiny with the North Node in Pisces, where we're meant to go, where our souls are, the direction our souls are meant to move, and the South Node, which is in Virgo, that's associated with fate and karma. Okay. In case you were wondering, Sag, I'm going to pull a card for you. First, I want to say thank you so much for your likes of this video. Thank you for tapping like, for leaving me a comment if you choose to comment. Thank you for subscribing to this channel. It's free and it makes a huge difference. It really helps me. Thank you for listening to that. And really, I want to express my gratitude. And I'm filming this on Thanksgiving. I'm about to go have dinner with my family on Thanksgiving. But I wanted to make this for you first. So thank you, Sag. Let's see what the cards have for you. Okay. Inner peace. When I look at this card, because it has the two fish, both swimming in the direction that they're swimming with the current, right? They're moving with the current, with the flow. I always think of Pisces energy, and Saturn and Neptune right now are back into Pisces for the very last time. They are squaring your energy, Sag. Also, the North Node in Pisces is squaring your energy. And what that means is that you could be looking for inner peace right now. Squares are tension and pressure, and they activate us. They make us, because there's discomfort there, we have to make some sort of a move. We have to take an action, or, what this card is saying is that you can have inner peace. Of course, we can have inner peace at any time, but often our mind is going so crazy, especially during a full moon that's squared by these different energies. We could feel kind of up against a wall in a way. And this is saying, claim your inner peace. Claim your inner peace. Do whatever will make you feel peaceful, whether it's meditation, whether it's bringing unconditional love down from the divine. And you can download for free my guided meditation that connects you to your spiritual guides and divine love. But doing whatever you need to get back anchored into peace, and to know that you are in the flow, Sag. You can get in the flow and all will be well. Scorpio. Hello, beautiful Scorpio. The Gemini full moon is happening for you in your 8th house of power and control, emotional attachments, death and rebirth, transformation. It's emotional and sexual intimacy. It's also connected to our taxes and our loans. You could be paying off a debt during this full moon. You could be having a deep conversation with a loved one. You could be focused on your long-term assets, finances, your investments, and you could be working something out on a financial level with someone who's very important to you, whether they are, a romantic partner or a business partner. It is a full moon, so often full moons something is culminating. We are selling something like a house. We are, you could be looking at your investments. You could be selling some stocks if you were invested in the stock market. You could be reinvesting. Obviously, so many different ways this could play out when it comes to the financial aspect of things. But you could get an illumination or some sort of divine download about your long-term security. This 8th house is where we often source our long-term security. Or it could be a realization that has to do with a partner, business or, intimate partner, that it's not aligned with you in some way, shape, or form. Or maybe it's a manifestation. Maybe it's a new beginning that is everything is finally shaping up, especially because Mercury's been retrograde for the most of November. And so things could finally be coming into place with some of these things for you. You could have bought a house or be buying a house too. So that would be very exciting, or some other kind of investment. Scorpio, opposite the moon in Gemini in your 8th house will be the sun in your 2nd house. And often when we have the sun transiting our 2nd house, especially because Mars and Venus will be here as well, you could be really fired up when it comes to your earned income. Venus and the sun transiting in the 2nd house are often when our income is good. Like we are feeling abundant. In other words, you could be feeling abundant in money, in resources. You could be feeling very positive about your own self-image. You could be feeling very happy about the inner work that you've done on self-worth and deserving, for example. Or you could just be feeling like things are going well in this realm of material security. That's the 2nd house. It's material security. So, Scorpio, let us pull a card for you. I want to say that with Mercury in Scorpio and Mercury being the ruler of this full moon, you could definitely feel like this is a skin shedding kind of full moon for you, that you are meant to purge a fear or go deep on something that has been in the way. This could be quite an illuminating full moon for you. And a card just flipped, and let us see what it is. And before I show it to you, I want to say thank you for liking this video. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. It makes a huge difference. I love your comments too. And this is your card, Enlightenment. I love this card, Scorpio. This is one of my favorite cards in this deck. I love, love, love this card. And right before the card flipped, I said, this could be quite the illuminating full moon for you, right? And that's what enlightenment is. Something gets illuminated. Something is awakened in us. Wow, I love this. I love this for you. And in this image, it's pretty abstract, but there is a ship, and you can see the abundance of the golden sails, and the ship is like riding the waves. It's not a calm sea, right? It's not a calm sea. But through what isn't calm, through the storm, perhaps, comes this galaxy of gorgeous lit up stars, a star at the top representing illumination, and your own enlightenment, beautiful Scorpio. If you want to claim this in the comments below, let me know. I would love to hear. Libra. Hello, beautiful Libra. Libra, your Gemini full moon is happening in your 9th house of expansion, Libra. You will be well supported to expand during this full moon. And recently a client asked me, what does expansion mean anyway? And that's a big question, right? But I associate expansion with seeing with new eyes, with opening up to new possibilities, with rising above the fray of human life. And, you know, we could also use the word transcendence as a synonym for expansion. I'm feeling my crown opening as I'm saying this. So it could be a crown opening, crown chakra, third eye opening. This is also the house of long distance travel. You could be making travel plans. You could be making plans to, or graduating. You could be leaving a country where you've traveled. You could be graduating from a degree program, graduating from a certification program, starting a new business, starting a new adventure, starting a podcast or a broadcast, or publishing a book, teaching, sharing your enthusiasm. Big picture, this is the house of spiritual beliefs. This would be a great full moon to release a belief that does not fit you anymore, that does not. Oftentimes when we go through a big change, if you're going through a change, Libra, if you're leaving something behind in your life, if you're walking away from something, if you have the realization that I can't keep doing this anymore, whatever that is, whether it's financial, whether it's a relationship, whether it's to do with your professional life, or, you know, it could be anything. The 9th house, a full moon in the 9th house, is often where we have to change a belief or a mindset in some way so that it fits with what our soul is saying is necessary for us. It can be the one thing that gets in the way from us saying yes to our heart is a belief. Like when I was going through a divorce, and I talk about this in my book, The Magic of Saying Yes, when I was going through a divorce, I had the belief that I could save my marriage single-handedly, that it would be up to me, and that if I didn't do that, if I couldn't do that, it was my fault. And I had to release that belief in order to release a marriage that had already died and could not be, unfortunately, transformed into something else, which is what my heart really wanted, was us to continue and transform that relationship, right? But that wasn't part of our destiny. Also, Libra, during this full moon, the Sun, Mars, and Venus will be transiting your 3rd house of your local environment, your mindset. It's a moving and shaking energy. It's getting a lot of things done. It's meeting up with people, talking to people, having dates potentially with people. So this may be inviting you to shift your mindset, to see with new eyes too, which is the 9th house too, to start something that where you're communicating. This is really a communication house, but also maybe to change your own inner narrative, your own thoughts about something so that you feel more empowered. Really good time, this full moon, a really good time for you to be out and about, talking to people, getting information if you need that, doing research, just really being in the flow of life, Libra, with others, if you feel so inclined. Okay, so let's see what the cards have to say for you. Thank you for taking a moment right now, if you would, to tap like on this video, leave me a comment if you care to share, and I would love If you would also right now tap the subscribe button. If you're not subscribed already, it makes a huge difference. Thank you for helping me. And now let me pull a card for you. And your card is Truth. This card is a card of illumination. You can see it in the wind blowing. The wind is blowing, and you're an air sign, so this connects to you, Libra. The wind is blowing in a different direction, or a direction that you may not have expected during this full moon. What I love about this tree is I see the heart shape in the green, the bulk of the tree here. And it's deeply rooted. It's not going to be unrooted from anything that comes to light. It's a truth that you need to see that's going to create a positive, powerful change in your life. It may be an unexpected truth, though. It may be temporarily uncomfortable. But with a full moon in Gemini, it trines your energy, and that's very harmonious, very supportive. So this should be quite a lovely full moon for you, beautiful Libra. If you want to claim your expansion, in the comments below, I would love to hear. Virgo, hello, beautiful Virgo. Virgo, the Gemini full moon is happening for you in your 10th house of career, profession, legacy, life purpose expressed, retirement, semi-retirement. It's where we spend our time. It's a vocational house. It's a house of passion, expressing our passion. It's where we want to feel fulfilled. So we also have the sun opposite the moon in your 4th house of home, family, childhood conditioning, where we want to feel secure, where we want to feel safe, where we want to feel like our home is our sanctuary. That house, the 4th house, also connects to the mother line and ancestral healing. A full moon is an ending, culmination, something coming full circle, something coming to light, something illuminating, or, something actually coming together for us. So you can see that this is, and because it's a Gemini full moon and Gemini squares your energy, Virgo, you'll probably be taking some sort of action during this full moon. It could feel intense for you. It could feel uncomfortable for a short period of time, but that's why I spend so much time in part 1 giving you guys tips and tools for moving through these energies, because it's a full moon with the South Node in your sign, Virgo, that you could be releasing something. If nothing tangible, maybe you're doing some emotional release. The lunar nodes are squaring this full moon, so the South Node in your sign is squaring this full moon. We're meant to let go of perfectionism and analysis paralysis and just being too much in our heads. So that's part of the energies as well. But you could be receiving recognition during this time in career. You could be starting your own business. You could be really letting go of a job. You could be going into retirement or semi-retirement. This could be where you're getting some sort of award, you're being seen, or you could be moving home. Something with a family member could be healing or changing for you. Someone could be moving out of your home. You get the idea. It's a good full moon to do inner child healing, and I have a video for you on inner child healing that's always linked in my description box below. So Virgo, thank you so much before I pull your card, taking a moment to tap the like button, take a moment to subscribe to my channel. If you're not subscribed, it really helps me. And if you want to leave me a comment, I love hearing your comments as well. Okay, Virgo, your card is action. Yeah, squares put us into action. This is such a perfect card. It is a perfect card. This full moon could feel a bit stormy for you. I see that, but I also see so much creativity in the orange and so much claircognizance with the yellow, like a sense and a knowing of what you need to do. You will know exactly what you need to do. Beautiful Virgo, take that step, take the action, and all will be well. Leo, hello, beautiful Leo. Leo, you're going to experience the Gemini full moon, which harmonizes beautifully with your energy. Gemini's air, you are fire, you're fire. The Gemini's air to your fire. This could be quite a sparkling full moon for you. It's happening in your 11th house of friendships, communities, online presence, if you have one, social media, allies, supporters, the people that really have your back. Also long-term financial gains, promoting or branding a business. You could be asking, where in the world do I want to live? Where do I want to explore? This is the house of fulfillment, big picture, and it's asking you Is there something that's not fulfilling for you that is kind of a dream that maybe you had before? You could be releasing that. Full moons are about releasing and endings and culminations, but also about manifestations. Something that we feel like we're moving on, we're graduating, or we're starting something new and something's coming together. So you could have been online dating and meet someone, and so you turn off your profile, your online dating profile. Or, you know, this can happen in all these different ways, but online dating is one of the ways that this can manifest. And also the sun, Venus, and Mars will be in your 5th house of pleasure, fun, romance, creativity, children. So you should, I hope, feel the really positive vibes of this energy that is working with you. It's really working with you, and it's really supporting you to enjoy yourself and just enjoy the fact that you've come a long way, Leo. I think you should really love this full moon. But yes, something could be ending and something new could be beginning. You could be releasing. Just know that this supports you to take really good care of yourself, your inner child, and to give yourself the fun, the time off, the joy, the excitement I'm hearing that you need. Let's see what the cards have to say for you. Thank you, Leo, for taking a moment to like this video, to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And if you want to leave me a comment, I love your comments as well. Let's see what your card is. And it is, oh my gosh, so perfect with Sun, Venus, and Mars in your 5th house of pleasure. You got pleasure. I love it when the cards line up like this, so synchronistic. You're going through a portal. You are walking through this portal. The deer is your protector. You are going onto greener pastures. Here's all the green energy of you, Leo. I associate you with the heart chakra. Go through the portal. Take the steps. Say yes to pleasure. If you want to claim your pleasure, in the comments below, let us know. I would love to hear. Cancer. Hello, beautiful Cancer. Cancer, I have my moon and rising in Cancer. If you've been watching on the premiere, thank you for your patience. Beautiful Cancer, you're going to experience this Gemini full moon in the 12th house of the other realms, your dream life. The 12th house is astral travel. The 12th house is the mystic within all of us. It is the part of us that wants to channel, messages, get the divine downloads, experience the signs and synchronicities. This is very supportive of anything that it's also our subconscious mind programming. So it's very supportive, this full moon, of you clearing out anything, because the mind can be a bad neighborhood. And a lot of stuff in that subconscious mind is connected to past lifetimes. I talk about this at length in part 1 of this video, because the lunar nodes of fate and destiny are squaring this moon. And so that brings in karmic stuff. You could be closing out a relationship that felt karmic. You could be really feeling like you're graduating. Full moons can feel like graduations. You're graduating from all that past life stuff, that karmic stuff. You could be just washing away. And this is a moon to let it wash away. Cancer, Jupiter's in your sign. It's trining Saturn and Neptune. It's trining Mercury and Scorpio. You are well supported during this new moon to do that. Also, because the Sun, Venus, and Mars are all in your 6th house of health during this full moon, you could be going through a health treatment, a surgery. You could be wrapping up something with work. You could be letting go of a habit. Your lifestyle could be changing, or there could be something going on with a pet. I hope you're not, no one's pet is about to cross over, but you could also be getting a new pet. So Cancer, this new moon is really supporting you to have an intense, I'm just feeling this energetically, just tap into those moments that we get when we have some sort of awakening, or we have an illumination in our dreams, or you could get a message in your dreams. Have you ever had a message from the divine through your dreams? I have, and those dreams are amazing, amazing. So if that's something you want, you can intend it. Let's see what the cards have to say for you, Cancer. And before I choose a card, thank you so much for your presence here. Thank you so much for liking this video, taking a moment right now to tap like, to subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. It really helps me. It makes a huge difference. But anyway, Cancer, let me pull a card for you now, and let us see what the cards have to say. Cancer. Trust the process. I love this so much. This reminds me of scorpionic energy. Why? Because have you ever done a visualization where you've like gone gone to the edge of the water and there's been a canoe there, and your spirit guide takes you and ushers you into new reality, or takes you someplace where you can download a message from the divine. That's what this card reminds me of. I have a meditation that you can download for free that takes you into the divine realms and connects you with your spirit guides and to receive unconditional love, Cancer. But do your best to trust the process, whatever goes on during this full moon, which could be a bit tumultuous just because of everything I shared. Whatever's going on in the subconscious, if it's not positive, if it's not supporting you, it's meant to be cleared. Our fears are meant to be felt, processed, and released. Trust the process. You are guided, you are protected, you are loved, beautiful Cancer. You are so loved. And the universe, your own higher self, has your back. My beautiful friend, thank you so much for joining me for the Gemini full moon. If you would like to meet me on Zoom for a one-on-one astrology reading or a coaching clarity session, go to my website, check out the testimonials that other clients have shared, and you can book directly on my site. We can do a heart's desire, a natal chart, a 90-minute astrology consultation if you would like a bit of coaching in addition to knowing about your chart and the current transits. Or if you want a 2026 year ahead reading, I am going to post those this weekend on my site so you can begin to book. I know a lot of you love those. And like I said, it will be my absolute joy to meet you on Zoom. Leave me a comment. Let me know how you're feeling about this full moon, any insights or sensations you're getting around it. And until my next video, I am sending you all my love.